What's up, everyone? So we're going to pick up from the previous video of trimming, so we could start this overnight brisket, and we're going to putting on our binder, and then we'll continue on with that overnight cook step by step. Some of this mustard on here. Now we're just going to use mustard as a binder. You don't need to use too much. This is just to help it adhere to the seasoning. You can massage it in here. We're gonna go with the AP. You see how the pepper is in there? You want to give it a good shake occasionally while you're doing it as well, because the pepper is heavier, so it will start going down to the bottom. So usually I give it a good shake, and you want to season from the top. Meat church is a good seasoning. My girl wasn't too fond of the pepper, the very coarse pepper, so I decided to get a new rub to try. Been meaning to try this killer hogs. We got the suckle busters on its way too. Shake it up. This AP, salt, pepper, garlic, you could do it by itself. Don't forget about the edges, right? Give it a nice coating. You don't want to rub the seasoning on there. As you can see, I have one clean glove. You want to tap it and pat it down, if anything. We're just gonna hit it up with this barbecue rub now on top. Got our base layer. Gonna start from the top. Give this also a shake. Don't forget about the sides. I used the tray. I was gonna use the butcher paper again, but I was like, you know what? I want this stuff to catch, because once we turn it around, I can let it grab some of those edges and just put the meat on the edge so it picks up whatever fell through. But just from watching the videos on how to barbecue right, or whatever videos I watch, they say brisket is a big cut of meat, so it can take the seasoning. So don't be afraid. Like I said, I told you guys we weren't gonna go crazy, so I'm not. This is I just want to put a little bit of color on this, right? Okay, so it's been sweating for about 10 minutes already. I'm just gonna come back and go with the barbecue rub. Give it just one slight pass. Now this is sweating by itself. It didn't go crazy there, right? We didn't want to go too much. And I'm just gonna get it one more AP pass. Nothing crazy. Just something to throw on there for the bark. Now, with that, we'll go ahead and we'll flip it over. So we'll start on the meat side now. Do a little pat. Get it over to the money side. Remember we talked about flipping it. I like to get some of those edges. Mustard. Give it a little bit. Doesn't need too much. Now we do the central massage of mustard. It's okay. Remember, we got some of the edges again earlier, but we can always double dip. All right, this is just for it to soak in there. So again, give it a nice little shake of that AP. Start a little bit far away. Just give it a slight coat. Give it a shake so we get some of that pepper in there. Come back one more time. And then, like always, let's not forget about the edges. And this is, like I said earlier, salt, pepper, garlic. So you can see the pepper in there. It really stands out. It's not too coarse, but it's noticeable, right? So let that kind of adhere. And then we're going to come back with the barbecue rub. So again, start a little high. Get a nice little coat on there. Nice little pat down. Don't forget about the edges. I'll shake. This is a meat side, so this can take some of that abuse from this rub. So don't be scared. I have to say, if you're scared, you better be going somewhere on Sunday. Me, I'll be going to work. Once it's sweated, we'll let it adhere, and then we'll let it chill in the fridge. But for now, let's give it some time, 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll let it sweat. So it's been 10 minutes. I want you guys to look at how it's sweating. That's beautiful right there. So we're going to go ahead and give it that last pass. You could see how moist it is. So again, some of that AP, give it a nice little shake. Make sure you get everything. Bark builder is the pepper, so we're going to give it that slide pass. This side could take it. Give that barbecue rub, give it a shake. And what we're going to do now is simply let it chill in the fridge a couple hours. And then we're going to do an overnight brisket. So we're going to be letting it go overnight at 200 degrees on the Traeger, ironwood, 885, first trial of this Killer Hogs AP and barbecue rub. Okay, it's about 5:30. The goal is to get this brisket on by 6 so we could hit the 12-hour mark around 6 a.m. We're going to be running with the Traeger Reserve pellets. Got these at the local Ace here where I live. It's already filled up to the top there. I got it running right now at 165. but our ultimate goal is 200. So let's go ahead and set that up. We already got it on the super smoke setting. You see that little squirrely. It's already starting. I like to start it off at 165 all the time, and then I increase it to whatever temperature I desire. I told you guys I was going to lift up the grate to the second level, and that's what it looks like there. Um, every time I finish a cook, I I go ahead and vacuum it out and do everything I have to do there. So in this case, we just fired it up, loaded it up with the pellets, and if you give me a second here, I'll go grab the brisket. All right, so we got the brisket out here. Look at that color, boy. It looks very good. And look how much it sweated just in the being in the fridge. It absorbed it. I think that's gonna help us in the cook. So um, let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so we're pretty much right at 555. Being nice and elevated, I'm hoping we can get some of those juices to get into the meat. So we're gonna put it on the center rack there. We are going to be spritzing it at least once an hour for the first, I don't know, let's say first 4 hours. So we will come back out, every hour just to spritz it with low sugar apple juice. That's what I got, courtesy of Aries. Um, Sometimes if you don't have that, water is perfectly fine. But we're 5 minutes due to 6 o'clock, so let's close it down, and we'll be back in an hour. So it's been 1 hour. This is what it's looking like so far. We're gonna spritz with this apple juice, like I said earlier. So we're just gonna keep a little bit of moisture on it. People use apple cider vinegar, um, water. They use a bunch of stuff. I'm just using apple juice today. It's only been 1 hour, so we'll be back. All right, so we're at the 2 hour mark. This is what it's looking like so far. So we're just gonna spritz it at the second hour. I like to spritz it the first couple hours while it develops the bark. I feel like it grabs more smoke that way. Um, Another thing we're gonna do is, since we're already here, we're gonna add our probe so we can start monitoring some of that internal temperature. And I'm gonna stick it right in the middle, like that. And I just want to get a read for the internal temperature. Just want to get an internal temperature read of that point. So, got it good. Cover it up. It's asking us a probe alarm, yes. And we just want the probe alarm to be at, let's say, 165. That's where our alarm is going to be set. Um, Usually it's around the temperature I want to wrap, but sometimes I let it go 170. We may do it by look this time, so um, but we'll leave it as is for now. 3 hour mark. This is what we're looking like. You can see it's starting to dry out. And that's all we like to spritz a little bit. We're going to hit it up with the apple juice. So earlier when I inserted the probe, I said that I wanted it at the middle facing the point, but what I meant was I wanted it at the thickest part of the flat going towards the point. Um, if you insert the probe in the point, there's a lot of fat. It's where it joins the point and the flat, so you'll get an incorrect read, or at least not a accurate read, because you'll get a lot of fat around that area. So I just wanted to correct that because I was looking at the video and I saw that I said it incorrectly. So I don't want you guys sticking the probe up here. You want it at the thickest part of the flat, which is usually right where it's going to meet that point, or in the middle. It looked a little dry, so I just want to make sure that I put a nice coat to moisten it back up. You can see right there, it's right where the flat is, right at the middle point. I'm sorry, right at the middle, facing the point. So you always want it to go that way. So, like I said, we're at 3 hours. Our internal temperature is actually not looking bad. I may wrap at 165. I may wrap at 170, 180. We'll see. But for now, it's looking good for 3 hours. 4 hour mark. This is going to be the last spritz. We'll show you how it looks. So this is going to be the last spritz. I'm actually going to go to my girl's house and I'll be monitoring it from San Jose. Like I said, it's the last spritz. It's already developing the bark, so I'm just going to give it that last moisture spray so it can continue to give me a nice little layer of bark. And then after that, we're going to let it do its thing. The thing about the Traeger ironwood is it has a Wi-Fi technology. I'm going to be monitoring it with that probe that I set in there at the 2 hour mark. And because I'm going to be away, I'm actually going to set the probe alarm at a higher temperature, and I'll show you guys how to do it with me. Get it nice and moist, because now I really want that bark to produce. So what I'm going to do is, but we're going to set that temperature to a higher alarm. So we're just going to edit it, and you know what? We're going to put it at 180, just in case. You know what? Screw it. Let's go. 175. Because if you look at that temperature, we're already creeping to the 140. So that means I got 30, 35 degrees left. Just from the last brisket that I've done, it goes up. At this time, it's going to go up about 3 to 4 degrees per hour. Last thing I want to do is come over here at 4 in the morning, but we'll continue to monitor it. Even if it goes off, I will leave San Jose. It should take me like 20 minutes to get here, and I'll come over here and take a look at it. But for right now, we're basically done. We're going to let it ride at 200 for 8 hours. 14 hours later, we are back opening it up for the first time after leaving it on all night while we slept. I set the probe alarm to 175 and it is only 173, but I figured it is time to wrap. Look at that thing. Look how it's sweated. All the juices, the bark is built up. Let's just check a little bit of the internal temp. Let's check the point. Come on, baby. There you go. We're only at 173 internal, so what that means is that we're just going to wrap it now. We'll take it inside. Well, we might as well show you guys how we're going to take this out. So we'll disconnect my probe. It's just juicy. All right, guys, so now let's go inside. Okay. So the butcher paper, I crease it so I can overlap it, and it kind of gives me a solid seal there. What I like to do is I usually like to bring it as close as I can, and then I'll transfer it over. Once I have it on there, need a little bit more. Let's see, it's juicy. So I tuck it in. Nice and tight. Find the edge. Find this edge. We're up with the meat. Down. Okay. And back up. So we have it all wrapped up. We'll go ahead and throw it back on. Okay, we're back outside. It's all nice and wrapped. Gonna stick our probe back in. Right in the middle. Close it back up. Now set our probe to 200. So now that we have that probe set to 200, we're also going to increase our temperature to 250. And we're super small, guys. At this time, we're trying to send this baby home. We'll check up on it in 2 hours and see how it goes. Okay, so we are at the 2 hour mark since we've wrapped it. We are at 16 hours now, and look at that. Probe is at 196, and we've set it to 200. So at this point, I'm gonna say maybe 30 minutes to an hour before it's done, and I'm not gonna take it out until about 202. So that's why I set it to 200, because at 200 I can then monitor it a little bit closer. So we're gonna let it ride for another 30, and we'll come back when it's time to take out. All right, guys. So what we have here is the temperature now hit 204. I told you guys I was gonna yank it at about 202, but when I checked it, it didn't seem to be where I wanted it exactly. So it didn't feel probe tender. So we're gonna check it here, and it should slide in like butter, like it is now. Usually the point will do that because it has more fat, but now the flat is even doing it. Let's see what the control temperature actually is. Close, 200, but now it's going in like butter. No resistance. So, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take it off, and I want to stop the cooking process. What I want to do is basically stop the cooking process before we put it in the cooler to rest for, at the minimum, 2 hours. So it's been about 10 minutes. It should have stopped the cooking process. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to simply put it in to this cooler. And just let it hang out. We'll be back in 2 hours and we'll see what the final outcome is. 17 and a half hours, guys. That's what this brisket took. not even including the rest. It's still hot, it's still warm, and it's been resting for 2 hours. Look how juicy this thing is. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. It feels jiggly through the paper. That's how this one feels. So, let's open it up. Let's see what this bad boy looks like. Look at the juices on that. On that. Look at that creation. That is awesome. It is dripping. Point, when you look, it's just it's jiggly as can be. So let me take this butcher paper off and we'll go ahead and give it a slice. There you go, guys. Let's start and split it here, or middle I should say. And let's just take a look. Let's see what we got. Look at that beautiful smoke ring. Beautiful. Look at those juices just flow out of there. That's beautiful. Can't wait to meal prep this, guys, for real. So this is a flat. Let's try a little bit of this flat meat. That thing is just falling apart. Look at how it bends. That's awesome. Let's cut a little bit of that. Let's taste it. It's good. Soft as can be. You could definitely taste the salt, not too much pepper. Delicious. Let's try this point. This is a thicker slice. But guys, check out that smoke ring. Boy. I mean, this thing is just fall apart. Look at that fatty. Mm-mm. Well, guys, there's a little bit of both for you guys. First trial of the How to Barbecue Right Killer Hogs AP and barbecue rub. 17 and a half hours. That's how much it took. And it came out spectacular. Pretty good. The fact that it's a prime makes it almost melt in your mouth. Every time I see a prime, I'll probably go for that. I will deal with choice, and that's a bare minimum. But guys, definitely recommend not only the prime, but I recommend the rubs and the slow cook method. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. It's time to meal prep this up. See you soon.